Oh yeah, it's double organic.
Hello, I have had a video request to show how to open a old or mature coconut. I have a video up showing many different ways to open a young coconut, and an old coconut is a little bit easier to get into. There are 3 eyes on the coconut, and what you can do is puncture the soft eye, and that eye is in one of the sections that is the largest. So you'll see on the coconut that there are 3 lines dividing the coconut into different sections. The largest section has the soft eye, which could be poked with chopstick, I've seen corkscrews, anything like that, and you can drain the coconut. It'll take a while. If you puncture one of the other holes, probably with a corkscrew, because they're harder holes, the air will go in and you can empty it much quicker. But I don't do that. I just crack it open, and once I hear it pop open a little bit, I open it up over a sieve. That's going to prevent any of the hair and stuff mixing with the water. Now, I open the coconut with a cleaver, and before we show you how to do that, when you're buying coconuts, usually they're going to come wrapped in plastic. I've removed the plastic. Unfortunately, the plastic makes it difficult to know if it's good or bad. These types of coconuts, they're not hot sellers. You could buy a coconut that's been on the shelf for months and it has gone bad. The people at the store, they're not checking it, they're not rotating it. When a banana goes bad, or when some other fruit or veggie goes bad, they can see that and remove it from the shelf. But you can't see when they're rotten very easily when they're wrapped in plastic. But what I'll do is I'll maybe rip open the plastic a bit and smell around the eyes. If it smells nasty, it's probably gone bad, moldy. That's one thing you can do. You can also look in the plastic. If around the eyes you see that it's dark and wet, that's another bad sign. With a young coconut, when you shake it around, you don't want to hear any water sloshing around. But with an old coconut, you're going to hear water sloshing around because it's matured, and in the young stage it's full of water and the meat is very thin. But as the meat gets thicker and the fat content increases, the water in the coconut decreases. Anyway, we're going to break this open, and then I'll even show you how to make coconut milk. So, you're going to take the back of a cleaver and strike the coconut, working your way around, and that's going to pop it open. And after that you can make a bra with it. But you can also use a chef's knife that is heavy enough to smack it open. Otherwise you can use a hammer to break them open. If you're going to be using a hammer, it's not as accurate as a chef's knife, so you might want to drain it first. But anyway, we're going to crack it open. I'm just going to do it over this bowl. Normally I do it over the sink just to collect all the hair. There we go. Popped it open. There's not a whole lot of water in it, but I'm draining it over our sieve. There we go. Put the knife in, pop it open the rest of the way, rip it apart, and there you go. From here, we're going to keep on breaking it open, breaking it apart. You can get the pieces of the coconut out from this point, but it's going to be much easier if it's in smaller pieces. There we go, broke it in half. Okay, so now we're going to remove the coconut meat from the shell. I put our little bit of water into the blender. There's not a whole lot of water in the mature coconuts. For the coconut milk, little pieces is good, so we have these little pieces that we're gonna put in there. And to remove the coconut, we're going to take a dull knife. We don't want a sharp knife for this. And we're just going to rock it back and forth. And that's going to separate it from the shell. Just rocking it back and forth, back and forth. And then we can twist a little bit and pry it. Work a little bit more. And the pieces are going to come off. Sometimes you get a big piece, sometimes you get a little piece. There are tools that you can get that'll make it a bit easier, but I find that a knife works just as well. There's a bit of a bigger piece, break that in half. Oh, there we go. Got the rest, and we're just gonna cut it into smaller pieces. Even though we're dealing with the Vitamix here, this is tough stuff to blend, so it doesn't hurt to help the Vitamix out. Now it's coming off easy. Probably wondering, why are you wearing pajamas? Having a pajama party, raw vegan pajama party. I'm wearing my SpongeBob pajamas. Yes, SpongeBob. Alright, so I'll get the rest of the coconut out and I'll see you later. So have the coconut pieces in the blender with the tiny bit of coconut water, and I've added water so that it just about covers all of the coconut pieces. And that seems to be a good ratio. Now what we need to do is blend it up before using the nut milk bag to make our coconut water. So now you are going to need a high-powered blender for this, as the coconut is pretty resilient, and I like to use the tamper. Helps it get going, and also we don't really want to over blend it too much. We just want to blend it enough. So we have it blended. Like I said, we don't want to over blend it. If we make it too small, I find that it clogs the nut milk bag with more of a coconut butter because you've over blended the coconut. I've never done this with a cheaper blender, but you could always give it a try. So, have the nut milk bag in our bowl here, and I'm just going to scrape off the excess. And we'll take this and put it on top of the blender. And then we'll just dump it out. That gets most of it. There's a little bit of extra in the blender, which we'll get after. But for now, I'll just give you a visual. Just keep on squeezing it and working that milk out. And all that will be left behind is the pulp. Now that pulp can be used for various other recipes. It could be used in a date crust instead of nuts or seeds. It can be blended into other dressings and sauces to help thicken it up. So there are options. Alright, so we are done. I'll show you a close-up of the milk. It tastes very good, and it can be used in a lot of different recipes. So, there you go. Now you know how to open it and make coconut milk. Yummy.
Oh, my brake don't work. Ah.